there's a lot packed into that question. You sort of now have struck a new term for me here. We always talk about sort of millennial as a generation, Gen Z, Gen Y, whatever, Gen X. Now we have sort of maybe COVID generation, post-COVID generation. It would be very interesting to see pre and post, how whether or not we consider that sort of a generation of workforce that went through this, and what did we learn. And I truly believe, and this is one of the things that I really enjoy about sort of the technology community or technology leadership community in more broadly, is the willingness to sort of share and collaborate on feedback and learning and experiences, which is how we all, wisdom of our communities, how we all learn more. I often say the slowest rate of change we will ever experience is the one we are experiencing now. And I think, COVID is putting that to the test for sure. It's certainly not slowing down anytime soon. I often tell my organization, you sort of have to get comfortable with being uncomfortable. And I often say the pain of change is mandatory. It's the suffering that's optional. And if you don't like change, you'll like irrelevance even less. And I think as technology leaders, you've had to reinvent yourself many times over to stay relevant. And in some ways, you're sort of battle tested for, another transition here at an accelerated pace. I think that we will find that there are different ways of working more efficiently, more effectively. I've heard a lot of people saying that productivity has gone up in general, in the most part. Sometimes the work and personal sort of blends together a little bit, but people are generally feeling more productive. There's little things I just found out recently about a thing called speedy meetings. Because meetings generally tend to start and end on time in sort of this remote world that we're working in, is an example. I can disconnect from one Zoom meeting and immediately connect to the next one with no decompression time, just literally switch. Context switching is actually the harder part, not the technology switching between meetings. And there's this capabilities called speedy meetings. It's whether you use Google for calendaring or Outlook or what have you, they both have this, where anytime you set up a meeting for 30 minutes, the default changes it to 25 minutes. And if you set up a meeting for 60 minutes, sets it to 50 minutes, and because meetings generally are starting and ending on time, you don't have this sort of 5 minutes in between meetings where people are running around buildings, going upstairs, elevators, running by the kitchen, grabbing something to eat or whatever. In starting most meetings, as we all know, sort of, 5 minutes or 5 minutes later. So this is actually allowing you to not only have meetings that are effective, we're also finding that with the playing field being leveled in terms of it's sort of a equalizer, everybody's on the same platform. You don't have half the people dialing into a meeting or videoing in and half the people in a conference room. We're finding that the participation of online and virtual, same with conferences, all hands meetings, team meetings, one-on-one meetings, the participation and the engagement has been significantly going up as well. And so we have to find ways to make sure that we do have these sort of decompression times built into our working day, and so on. And I think we're going to learn a lot of new and better ways to work that are sort of in that sort of area.